Don't we have enough agencies in this country?
It's not so much an agency as a kind of stay-behind movement. A last line of defense, if you will. No hierarchy, and you'll answer directly to the president.
And I'll get to do whatever I want.
Whatever is needed, Miss Kelso. Should you be activated, you'll be given extraordinary judicial powers to...
Extraordinary judicial powers, huh? All right. Sign me up.
Are you sure you want to do this? The optics are going to be terrible. Manhattan's in a crisis state, and this is the one club I've got left in my bag. Hell if I'm not going to take a swing. Agreed. So what's our situation?
Mr. President, it's bad.
Have you heard?
Heard what?
About Waller.
No. What's the latest?
He's dead.
That means that Mendez is in charge.
Ambassador Minich, you have a report?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. If you look at the projections here, you will see that the infection is spreading despite our best efforts to contain it. Make no mistake, we are looking at a worst-case scenario.
In 2001, a real-world exercise tested the emergency response to a bioterror attack on the continental United States. The operation was called Dark Winter. Within just a few days, the simulation spiraled out of control. The operation predicted a rapid breakdown in essential institutions, civil disorder, and massive civilian casualties. Dark Winter has revealed how vulnerable we've become. Our lifestyle, our security, our safety, depends on a delicate and unstable economy. We've created a system so complicated that we no longer understand how to control it. Oil, power, shipping, transport. We live in a complex world. And the more complex it gets, the more fragile it becomes. The system is built on a global supply chain that gets things where they're needed, just in time. We've created a house of cards. Remove just one, and everything falls apart. And what's fueling the system?
Money. Americans can spend $90 billion in a single day of shopping. Last year, 200 million people swarmed their local stores on November 23rd. We call that day Black Friday. Did you know that a flu virus can survive on the surface of a banknote for up to 17 days? One day, there will be a pandemic. It could begin during the crush of Black Friday sales. A pathogen will jump from tainted banknotes to human skin, onto food, toys, children, and loved ones. By the time patient zero feels the first sore throat, millions of people will already be infected. From this point, the breakdown will happen fast.
Day 1, hospitals will reach capacity. Panic will strike. Day 2, quarantine zones will be established. Resources will be rationed. Transport will go into lockdown. Day 3, international trade will stop. The oil will dry up. The stock market will collapse. Day 4, the power will fail. The shelves will be empty. The taps will run dry. And once hunger and despair take hold, people will do anything for survival. By day 5, everyone will be a potential threat.
In 2007, a new presidential directive was signed quietly into law. This maps out the government's response to a crisis, a plan to cope with a real dark winter. It is known as Directive 51. There are rumors of shadow agencies, sleeper cells, covert agents, but nothing can be confirmed.
What you're looking at is the smallpox virus, one of the deadliest pathogens on the planet. For centuries, it did a wonderful job of helping keep the human population in check. But times change, and sometimes Mother Nature needs a hand in improving her creations. Like, say, speeding them up a little bit. making them contagious when they should be quietly incubating in a host, or making them more lethal. I didn't come up with the approach on my own. My friend Vitaly is one of the pioneers in the field, and the idea has been around for years. Genome as data. You see, once we digitized DNA, we made it infinitely mutable. We could do 1,000 virtual variations in the time it used to take to grow a 1 lab-grade generation of pathogens. And we could pick the best, most lethal combinations and make them real. That's how you make a killer virus, you see. Mix in genetic code from other diseases, and you move the sliders all the way up on lethality and virulence. The goal was a 90% mortality rate. I'm not sure my green poison is going to quite hit that, but honestly, that's just details. As long as most of humanity goes, the Earth stands a fighting chance. Technically, technology is what's killing the planet. But that's not really the case. It's the greed that drives the technology. But a funny thing happened on the way to $100 genome maps and 3D printed plastic toys. Someone figured out those technologies could be repurposed, modified for the greater good. Me. Now, my virus is going to do what nature's always done. Decide who lives and who dies. And if nature decides I die, then I die. If nothing else, I'll have a lot of company. Natural selection at its finest, helped along by a little unnatural genetic manipulation. It's all data, really. Life's just a method of processing it. The same way I processed the smallpox genome on my laptop. And who's to say that wasn't the plan all along? If, by some miracle, you survive green poison, then nature's decided you deserve to live. The rest of us shouldn't and won't. Godspeed. I'll see you in hell.
You know, this Black Friday, you can sleep in.
All over the region.
Retailers are calling this their 149,000 stores offering
Millions of
sales
dollars
in
in
the
cash sales changing hands starting on
New York. Hit the stores. The flu season is off to its earliest
Appears to be a previously unknown variant of the flu. Suspected case catching many experts off guard.
Today I was feeling like maybe
Back on the breaking news, leading with unconfirmed reports of a smallpox outbreak.
Is a highly rehearsed scenario.
And National Guard units converging on a hospital in central Manhattan.
Closed. It's smallpox is a very real
More deaths
danger.
than AIDS, more than
There's
Ebola.
not enough vaccines.
Let me stop you there. This is not a panic situation.
An entire American city.
known as green poison. Central Park has been converted to a mass burial ground.
Power outages, gas line leaks, fires. The government's
We're expecting another night of widespread looting.
people of New York are begging.
What would happen?
Our first responders are either dead
No resources available.
or treated like animals.
It's not our job. We're not trained for that.
We just got word we lost comms with the entire east side of New York City. If anything, now's the time, Mr. President.
The origin of this disease is still unconfirmed, but there are many theories speculated that it could be the result of a well-orchestrated terrorist attack.
Hey, did you hear something about them closing the bridges tonight? First I heard about it. Who says? Frank said he heard it on the radio.
Yesterday, this was a symbol of true power. But today, it means nothing but destruction.
measures to tackle the crisis.
That is why the President today has decided to invoke Directive 51.